Hey guys, Bailey here from Carp Dreams, and we're down at Tanyards fishery. I've never fished here before. Today we've been fishing all day for smaller carp on the zig and on the bottom bait. Now today we were on course lake 1 where I caught 3 carp on the zig and 2 carp on the bottom bait. For tonight we're going to be going on specimen 1 trying to go for the bigger carp. Now it won't be just me and my dad fishing. We'll be joined by 2 very special guests. Carl and Alex are going to be joining us for the night. We'll see them later in the video where they're going to give us a short interview just to say a few tips and how to get better at your angling. See you then.
Action. Oh.
So we spent the night in freezing cold conditions. We didn't get anything. It was January and we thought it was going to be tough. It proved to be. So I'm joined now with Carl and Alex to do a quick interview just to talk about some questions that you guys have sent in. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm all good, man.
Ready?
Yeah.
So the first one, as a viewer, I really enjoy your blogs and your videos.
Thank you.
And when reading a couple of your blogs, it says that you've recorded for Fishing Britain.
Yep.
Did you feel any pressure on you to catch for the camera?
There was quite a bit of pressure, but the lake that we went on, Carp Free Pool, we knew quite well, so we weren't too worried. But yeah, when the cameras were on us and it wasn't our own cameras, it was a little bit worrying, wasn't it? Yeah.
Do you feel that same pressure when you're recording for YouTube?
It depends where we are and what we're fishing for. Sometimes if we've got like a difficult target, a big fish that we need to catch, then yeah, the pressure's on us. Like Part Lake campaign as an example, we couldn't make the film without catching the big common. We had to catch the big fish in there to make it a success. But at the other end of the spectrum, we've got days like yesterday when we were fishing up on the course lakes, catching loads of fish. It was laid back, we're filming a little bit here and there. You know, it's easy. There wasn't so much pressure. No
because
pressure
it was
at all.
You're
just having fun catching a few fish, which is what it's all about, really.
Right. So the next question is: your videos are really impressive. I've read on Instagram this week about how long it takes you to get them ready for publishing, and we've also experienced that today with recordings. Are you guys self-taught or what tips would you give people like me starting up?
For filmmaking?
Yeah.
First of all, I'd say only make films about your fishing if you're interested in filmmaking as well as fishing. I've got a few friends who did a bit of filming of their fishing because they loved the fishing, but then because they didn't love filming as well, it was always a chore for them. It was like, why am I doing this? But because both Alex and I from a very young age have been fascinated with filming, like animations, all sorts, and we've been fascinated with fishing, it's easy to combine the two things. But as a tip, Alex, get a tripod, don't you think? Yeah, get a tripod. There's so many videos you see when it's just hard to watch because it's shaking so much. Shaking everywhere. But yeah, if you can get a tripod, you don't have to get a really expensive one, just one that you can put the camera on and get a nice still shot. Yeah.
So did you teach yourself, Alex, or did you get some tips off Carl as well?
Carl taught mostly himself, and he's sort of passed all of what he knows down to me, so thanks to Carl for teaching me about most of the filmmaking and editing. And if I want any advice, I always go to Carl. And if I want any advice, I just go to Google. So yeah. It's all good. But I did study filmmaking at college. It was a fairly basic course, so I didn't pick up too much. But if someone who wants to get into it, a filmmaking or media course at college would be a great option.
So the next question is talking about when you went to America, catching across the pond. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, wasn't it? You have to agree.
Yeah.
Do you think that America is the next country to blow up fishing-wise?
Carp fishing-wise?
Yep.
Wouldn't you say? It's like... So they've got the quantities of carp and they've got the quality of some really big carp. There's so many people fishing there for other species. I'm not sure if people really realise that there are so many carp. They realise there's so many carp, but they just don't appreciate the carp. Yeah. There's a growing population of people who are falling in love with the carp fishing, and we've got friends over there, Brendan and Austin from the film. All their friends fish for carp, like they fish for carp. It's great, but there's the majority of the people out there that just don't see the potential for the carp fishing. They don't see the sport aspect of it. But providing more American anglers do start carp fishing, catch and release carp fishing specifically, then yeah, it could be a huge industry over there. It could become potentially as big as the bass fishing, because let's be honest, I reckon America's got more carp in it than it does bass. So
you said that it was growing in popularity. Every single day, what tips would you give someone starting up? How do you get their angling better?
If someone who's never been carp fishing before,
and they want to start on maybe like a lake like Tanyards or one of the ones at Course Pool.
First thing for a beginner, find the fish, get good at looking. When we started, we would literally step out of the car, cast a rod into the pond and be like, why am I not catching any fish?
But there'd be someone on the other side of the lake catching.
Yeah, how come he's catching but I'm not? Well, it's because the other angler walked around, spotted the fish, kept their eyes open for signs, and then fished the spot. The other thing is, like, carp fishing specifically, instead of like coarse fishing, general bream, tench, whatever, it can be a lot harder. It can be very, very tough, especially if you're in a low stock lake like we are today. Like we've just done 24 hours, and other than catching the fish up on the coarse stakes, we're struggling. Like, let's be honest, we haven't
just had a decent pike.
Well, we've had a pike, yeah, but the carp fishing has been tricky. So
been a struggle.
Don't set your targets too high when you start out. Like, when we started fishing, we said, we want to catch a 20-pounder. And we were like, let's just catch it, like, that's our target. And it took a good long while to catch it, but when we did catch one, we were over the moon. It was a brilliant result. But the best way to start carp fishing is to pick somewhere with lots of carp in it, and hone your tactics and practice somewhere where you're going to get lots of bites. Like, where did we start carp fishing?
We started carp fishing at a small lake in the woods, and there were lots of carp in there, but we only started catching when we walked around a few times. We spotted some on the surface, flicked out surface bits of bread, and that was how we managed to catch them in there. But that's, I suppose, what we do every time we go fishing now. For any species, we go and find the fish before we fish for them, and it normally goes all right.
So you're both linked with Nash. What's your opinion? What's the best bit about being part of their team?
Well, I got a job as their cameraman year before last, and since I've joined, the best thing of all is just working as a group with some people that I really enjoy working with, basically. The other cameramen, Alan, who you've obviously interviewed in the past, they're just nice people to be around. They've got great work ethic, they just get the job done, and if anything, just working alongside them has inspired me just to put in a bit more effort with what I do as well. From Alex's point of view, what'd you say? You haven't really had much to do with Nash, I suppose. It's more just going to the shows and being part of the team, I suppose, really.
Yeah, I suppose, again, like you said, being with a bunch of people who really enjoy what they're doing and really enthusiastic about fishing.
Yeah, man. Especially Alan, he's just mental.
Yeah, he chats for England.
Well, he fishes for England.
Don't tell him that.
He should fish for England as well.
Yeah, he's a good angler. As popular fishing YouTubers, do you often get stopped by viewers and asked questions?
At fishing lakes?
At popular day
regular
tickets and stuff, yeah.
But on the street, it's only happened a few times. One time we were in Sainsbury's.
I know.
Remember that?
We were buying loads of bread. We got our
corn.
basket full of bread and sweet corn. When I say full, I mean we had like 10 loaves of bread, 15 bags of sweet corn. And this guy came up to us while we were just walking around picking up the last few bits.
You are fishing then? And we're like, how do you know we're fishing? He's like, watch your videos. I was like, oh, sweet. I didn't expect to bump into someone in Sainsbury's. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then.
When you do get bumped into, do they often ask you questions?
They'll ask us when the next video.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's
Is
good.
that the most common question asked?
The more, like, for every other question we get 10 questions, when's the next video, which is great. It means people are looking forward to watching them, which, to be honest, when we started all those years ago making silly little fishing films, we didn't expect there to be an actual audience of people like wanting to watch them, so it's pretty cool. It certainly makes us happy when people want to know when the next one is. It just means we've got to make the next one.
I know.
It's sometimes a lot of effort, but it's always worthwhile.
A fish is bubbling. Sorry about that.
Oh yeah.
As if you had to describe your fishing beliefs in one sentence, what would it be?
Fishing beliefs. As a generalisation, my fishing beliefs are: it's easy to overcomplicate things. It's easy to get lost in a massive cloud of information and tactics and baits and technological doodahs that kind of make you sort of lose sight of what actually you go fishing for. And as at the end of the day, we have most fun when we go out with line, a hook, some bread, and we find some fish and we just flick a bit of bait out, and they're like, oh, is it going to take it? Is it going to take it? But going back to basics whenever you possibly can is so worthwhile. It just kind of connects you with why you do it. There's absolutely reason for using technical rigs and special baits and everything, like where necessary, but when you can, I just like to go back to basics and enjoy what fishing is all about. You know, the thrill of the chase, exciting moments when you hook into a fish, and yeah, basically that's my beliefs as such, I suppose.
What would you say, Alex?
I'd say, well, similar to what Cole said. When we first started fishing, what we did, we'd leave home with rod, reel, line, hook, so a loaf of bread, we'd go up into the woods, explore a lake, find the fish in there, and then catch them. And that's what we still enjoy doing most now, just going to the lake near our home in the forest with just line, hook, bread, and stalking them out. It's just so much fun, and it's still, I get so excited about it, even though I've done it a million times.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, when we interviewed Alan, we also asked him what sort of technique would you use when going fishing, and he said going back to basics, float fishing, stalking.
At the end of the day, through angling, you have different levels of separation from the fish. You've got bolt rigging at 100 yards and spreading boilies around it where the fish are a long way from you, and when you get to take it, it's exciting, but there's that degree of separation. Then you've got like float fishing, you're watching your float, and just beneath it there's carp moving around, you're closer to the fish, you're closer to the action, and it's more thrilling. And then you've got surface fishing where your bait's right there in front of you and you've got to be super, super quiet because the carp's coming up, and then you're really close up to the fish, and then you're really excited and you just can't like contain yourself when you're watching it. Come on, is it going to take it? Your heart's thumping, like you just can't beat it. So like the great thing about fishing is it's whatever you make of it. You can do the relaxing styles of fishing, you can do the exciting styles of fishing, however you feel and however you want to. There's a type of fishing to suit like what you want to do, really, which is really nice.
Now we're going to the Carp Dreams Killer 5 questions.
Oh, Killer 5 questions.
We did these to, we're going to do these to every interview we do, so we did it with Alan, and then at the end we're going to have a little table saying which answers were said by which person, which group of people.
Well, I hope I don't die. Killer 5 questions.
So number one is, if you could give a young angler one tip on angling, what tip would that be?
Find the fish.
Yeah, we kind of said it already.
Yeah,
but
it is just the main thing. Find the fish, because you're not going to catch if there's no fish in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's with all species, I'd say. Well,
yeah, and if the fish move, you've got to move.
Yeah.
Simple as.
See, when we interviewed Alan, he said put energy in. Do you agree with that? Put more energy in.
Alan's the prime example of energy, and he will move 10 times in a night if the fish move 10 times in a night, and he will be up 1 a.m. baiting up if he feels it's necessary. Like, he puts in serious amounts of effort, he gets serious results. Like,
paper's a bit wet.
That's all right. We're pretty rainy this session.
Young anglers are on a limited budget nowadays. And what one piece of equipment would you ask them to spend more of their money on than other bits?
What do you reckon? That's hooks and line. Don't go and get a cheap hook that's going to straighten out. Don't go and get cheap line that's going to snap.
The rod.
At the end of the day, the thing that the fish will see and will interact with is
the hook and
the line and the bait, because that's what they come into contact with. When a carp takes your bait out in the lake, like how we are today, it doesn't know what alarms I've got, it doesn't know what reels and rods I've got, it couldn't care less what rods and reels I've got. At the end of the day, what you present to the fish has got to be just right. That's what you should be putting all of your effort into, is getting that perfect. Once you're really confident with your rigs and baits and setups out in the lake, and your lines pinned down and all that, then you can start to think more about, can I have a nice setup? Can I have a, and and have a nice bivvy and stuff. Like for ages and ages, we just slept on the floor and under our brolly. We didn't have a bed chair.
Because that wouldn't make a difference.
Because at the end of the day, we caught the same amount.
Which is a bit more tired.
When we slept on an unhooking mat to when we slept on a bed chair. But it's one of those things. Progress from your rig back, as you invest in your equipment.
Would you say the same?
Yeah. What's out in the lake is more important than what you're sleeping on or what's sheltering you.
Okay, so the next one is young anglers. They're fishing busy day ticket waters, and because they can't get there during the week because of school
True.
and college and
Absolutely.
union and whatever. So how would you say? What tip would you give someone to fish a busy day ticket water?
What are you thinking, Alex?
I'm thinking go to areas where other people, so say that there's a lake and there's 10 anglers on it, move away from where the anglers are.
Yeah.
So move away from where all the pressure is, move to the corners.
Yeah, the busier the day ticket, the more the fish will be wary of lines in the water and anglers. And if there's someone in a swim, they're hammering in bivvy pegs, they're setting up, they're being noisy, they're leading around, chucking marker floats here and there, they're spotting, whatever. There's a good chance that the bigger and wiser, older fish in the lake will go and hide somewhere tucked away from those fish, and you've got to be the one who sneaks in and stays quiet, doesn't alert the fish to your presence, and then you can get the bites whilst the other people are scaring the fish towards you. You know what I mean? Also on day tickets, a lot of the time small changes can make a big difference. So whether that be the colour of your pop-up or just casting to a slightly different spot, just away from your baited area, little things can often make a big difference. So even if you don't think, that won't make a difference, give it a go. And also just be ready to like I said, move away from other anglers and the disturbance, because like where we are today, Tanyards, quite a lot of the time there's a shallow bay behind us, and if there's lots of rods out in this part, you'll find fish tucked up
And there'll be
in
no
the
one
pads.
there.
There'll be no one up that end, but that's where all the carp will be, so just be ready just to quickly.
We've seen a few pike and fish jumping out.
For sure.
So the next question is tying with what you said about invest more money in the business end. What 2 rigs would you take with you if you were going to go carp fishing? You can only have 2.
Ledger rigs?
Yep.
Or your rigs for the like ledgering,
yeah.
Okay. Just a simple coated braid down to a hair rig, normally a size 8 or 10 hook, with the hair to suit the bait that I'm using, and that's all I would use.
With the coated braid though, we normally strip
Just the hair.
the
just
hair
so
back
it's a bit supple,
so that your hook bait moves around, but above the hook is reasonably stiff, so that the rig sort of kicks out from the lead. The only other rig that we tend to regularly is that was definitely a pike. That was those pike are really winding us up today.
I swear we've cast there about 16, 17 times.
The second we stop fishing is the second pike start jumping out all around us. But yeah, the only other rig is a simple pop-up rig, very similar to what Alex described with the coated braid, just with a shot.
You strip a bit off and then just pinch a shot on.
Pinch a shot on and pop it up with just a 15mm pop-up. That the pop-up rig we'd use if it's really silty or perhaps it's weedy. The bottom bait rig would fish if it's clean bottom and your hook's not going to get stuck in any weed or something.
See, when we cast to the island, there's a lot of clay on the bottom, so we used a pop-up. Would you use a pop-up if it was clay on the bottom?
If I'm casting out on the lead and as it sinks it's hitting the bottom and it's going thud and it's quite a hard bottom, and when you pull the lead back it sort of just skims straight across, I'd be quite happy fishing a bottom bait. If I cast out and it sort of sinks down really slowly and sort of plunges into the silt, or it's stuck in the silt, or perhaps when you reel the lead back it's kind of getting stuck in like weed, like when we're fishing the farm pond and you bring the lead back and it's all stuck, that's when you've got to use a pop-up to keep it away from all of the weed and dirt on the bottom that you might, because if your hook gets stuck in some weed or a branch or a leaf or some dirt, you might not catch anything. So that's the time when I'd use a pop-up.
Now this one is my viewer's favourite one.
Okay.
What's the most unusual bait you've caught a fish on?
Unusual bait. Well, a lot of people think that it's unusual that we use pepperami and corn for like more of our fishing than anything else. Like every time we fish, pretty much there's some corn or pepperami in our mix. But
don't know what the most. It's not really unusual though, is it?
It's not very unusual. Let me think.
When we interviewed Alan, he
Yes.
said he took one of the people he was fishing with, and he opened his lunchbox, and he had grapes and beef hula hoops, and he managed to catch fish off both of them.
Oh man, yeah, that's quite impressive to be honest.
I don't think we've had any fish on something as weird as that.
Beef
Oh,
hula
Cole,
hoops.
you went to the river once for your birthday and you put on a jelly baby, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
You didn't catch one, but he had a bite.
I was fishing luncheon meats for barbel, and the luncheon meat kept falling off of the hair rig, so I just put on 2 jelly babies that I had from my lunchbox. And yeah, I had a great bite. Rob whacked around taking line. It could have been a chub, but don't really know. But anyway, that came off, so I almost caught a fish on the jelly baby.
So jelly baby would have been your most unusual bait.
That would have been a pretty good result actually if I'd caught one on a jelly baby. Well, I kind of almost caught one, half caught one.
Right, so that is now the end of the question and answers.
Thanks
I hope
a
you
lot.
enjoyed.
Yeah. Thanks for asking us.
Thank
some
you
good
for coming.
questions.
That's all right.
And
Thank you.
well done on all the fish you caught up
Yeah.
on the core stakes.
Thank you. You'll see them earlier in the video, but yeah.
Another pike.
Oh yeah.
We're going to get back on the pike.
Try
I'll
and
see
catch
you
a
next
pike.
video.